Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Stanny Boy Reviews. I am your host, Stanley. I am so pumped that you're taking the time to check out my channel. If you haven't, this is the time to subscribe. Please, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Last week, we reviewed the movie Scream. This week, as promised, we're going to continue the train. We are going to talk about another one of the Scream films. Not Scream 2, not Scream 3, not Scream 5, although by the time this video was uploaded, Scream 5, otherwise known as Scream, will be in theaters and I will have seen it twice. Yes, twice. But we are going to be talking about Scream 4. Call me crazy, a lot of people don't like Scream 4, and there are reasons for that, but I am one of the minority. I think Scream 4 is pure gold, but we'll get to it. I also want to share the fact that I have created a little intro that is going to play right after this little intro, and I would like to get some feedback on it to hear what you guys might think about it. In the meantime, we're gonna get down to the nitty-gritty of Scream 4. We're gonna talk about some of the background drama, why I loved it, and we're going to review it a little bit as well. So, I'm gonna have a seat. Let's get to it.
Finally came back for you.
Stanny.
I'm going to twist your back like mine, so you'll never get out of bed again. Never get out of bed again. Never get out of bed again. Get out of bed again. Get out of bed again. Get out of bed again.
Personally, I think that's a lot of fun. We are here to talk about Scream 4, which in my opinion is the next best Scream film. Critics disagree, Scream fans disagree. I think it echoes the first film perfectly. It could be a direct sequel to the first film. The Weinsteins decided that there was going to be a Scream sequel with or without the involvement of Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson in 2008. It wasn't until 2009 that Kevin Williamson had decided that he was going to be attached. He finished a draft. The Weinsteins weren't very impressed with what he completed, so they brought in Aaron Kruger, who had written Scream 3, to polish up the draft, and then brought in another guy, Paul Boardman, who had written movies like Urban Legends Final Cut and Hellraiser 5 Inferno, to polish up that. So there were a few people behind the writing process, and even Wes Craven put some final touches on the script.
This isn't a comedy, it's a horror film. People live, people die, and you'd better start running.
Wes Craven was on board once Kevin Williamson was on board. Neve Campbell, David Arquette, and Courtney Cox confirmed their return. The movie premiered April 15th, 2011. Like I said in my last review for Scream, Scream is an event. I remember very clearly seeing this movie on opening night. I flew my best friend Ryan on my own dime to see this movie in a sold-out theater in tiny little Juneau, Alaska. We were gripping onto each other the entire time, and I remember just feeling this huge feeling of excitement. You guys have to know, we weren't supposed to get Scream 4. Scream 4 was a Christmas present in the middle of April, 11 years later. Casting issues were a thing from the get-go. There were many people attached that dropped out. Lauren Graham from the Gilmore Girls was originally cast as Kate Roberts, but she dropped out just days into principal photography for unknown reasons and was replaced by Mary McDonnell. Lake Bell was cast as Deputy Judy Hicks, but had to drop out for scheduling conflicts. Selena Gomez and Ashley Greene were reportedly offered the role of Jill Roberts. There were multiple script revisions. There was an opening that was floating around that involved Sidney hosting a dinner party. Ghostface strikes and kills everybody and attacks Sidney. And it turns out that the Ghostface was just an obsessed fan. And then Sidney goes into hiding. That opening was obviously scrapped. There was a storyline involving Sidney having amnesia. There was also a lawsuit that Kathy Conrad, who was a producer of the first 3 films, she filed a lawsuit against the Weinsteins for a number of reasons, and that was settled outside of court. Anyway, Scream 4 raked in a little over $90 million against a $40 million budget worldwide, and That's not good. This is why there was not a Scream 5. Scream 4 was supposed to be a reboot of sorts for a new trilogy. Had it performed better at the box office, we would have gotten more films, but the numbers didn't talk, so we didn't get anything. What we did get was a Scream television series. We're not gonna really get into that. But yeah, there was a lot of trouble behind the Scream 4 production. And of course, we could just blame the Weinsteins when it comes down to it. I'm really excited to see what happens with Scream 5 or Scream without the participation of the Weinsteins. The reviews I'm reading are glowing, so we will see. Okay, let's talk about the plot. Scream 4 picks up 10 years after Scream 3 ends. Sidney Prescott is returning to Woodsboro for the last leg of her book tour. She is now an author. She has written a book called Out of Darkness, a survivor's tale. She is going to be staying with her aunt. I don't know how to say it. I've never actually considered this until just now. We're gonna say aunt. She is staying with her Aunt Kate and her cousin Jill. And this new film focuses more so on Jill. Her friends are Kirby, who is a film geek, tomboy kind of character that is really the new Randy. There's also a bitchy kind of hot cheerleader named Olivia who lives next door to Jill. There is a duo film buff set of guys named Robbie and Charlie. There is also Jill's on-again, off-again boyfriend who may or may not be cheating on her named Trevor, who is strikingly similar to Billy Loomis in a whole bunch of ways, right down to the fact that he sneaks in her bedroom window at night. So this is the new group. Now living in Woodsboro is Dewey, who is now the sheriff. He is married to Gale, who is no longer working but is trying to write. She is bored, kind of in the housewife territory, and as always, normal Gale fashion, is looking for a story. There's also a deputy named Judy Hicks, who is a little obsessed with Dewey. Lucky for Gale, a double murder has taken place at the opening of the movie. Soon we realize that a new killer is targeting Sidney and is targeting Jill's friends, really trying to make a reboot, or a remake rather, of the murders that took place in Woodsboro 15 years prior. It should be noted that there is, at this point, a string of Stab movies. Stab is a movie that was made in Scream 2 based off of the Woodsboro murders, which is a book that Gale Weathers wrote based off of the murders that took place in the first Scream movie. There is a whole Stab universe that is really funny and tongue-in-cheek. There is a yearly Stabathon kind of in the middle of nowhere, and they watch all the movies on a loop, they drink, they party, and they quote these films. I don't want to give anything away as much as I really want to. I know that I wasn't afraid to do that in the last review, but I feel like I should be kind to those who are watching this and who are new to the series and who are new to the franchise and who haven't seen these movies. The ending is batshit. The killer reveal, to me at least, is one of my favorite reveals and has one of my favorite killers out of the entire series. The motive is on point. It's very relevant. Just the way Scream 4 ends is just a perfect way for a new film to begin. 10 years later, if that makes any sense. I can't be the only one who loves Scream 4 as much as the first film. Like, I just can't be. I know that it has taken time, and I know that it has found its way into the hearts of Scream fans and horror fans alike. Scream 4, man. Scream 4 is, in my opinion, the next best thing. The only one I don't really love as much as the others would be Scream 3, but even then, Scream 3 is its own entity, and we'll get there when we get there. But as far as Scream 4 goes, of course, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. That's just me. This is a mean movie. It's mean. That's another thing that I really like. It is just mean. The kills are mean. This film has some of the best writing out of all the sequels. There was enough time that passed to where Kevin Williamson was probably feeling fresh enough to come back to the material. The characters are given some of the best one-liners.
You forgot the first rule of remakes, Jill. Don't fuck with the original.
I would love to know what you think about these movies, specifically Scream 4. By the time this review is posted and you have seen Scream 5, please let me know what you think in the comments. Leave some feedback. There's a comment box below. Until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay spooky, and I hope you guys come back for the next one. Take it easy for now.